I think it's good for him to get out there in front of people and play. That might seem kind of a simple statement, but he's looked very good in practices. So when people ask you questions at Big Ten Media Day, and the only thing you can judge on is what you see, and he looks comfortable. The ball goes in. He makes threes. He makes pull-ups. He's never been a guy that really separated himself from people. He can separate and get a shot, but in terms of getting by people a lot. So tonight, seeing him get to the rim a couple times was good. He took a charge, which is a positive. But this is the way he's looked in practices and scrimmages. He's been very, very efficient. He has scored the ball. And each time this happens, it just builds more and more confidence for him. And then I think also for our team, because we're going to look to him to do a lot for us.
When he came out, and it's probably something you may not even be aware of, but he went to the end of the bench and kind of stood up against the scoreboard several times. Was that just to kind of keep it deep and tighten it up? Or
I have no idea. No, I didn't. I noticed he was standing a couple times,
yeah.
but I didn't pay much attention to it. So what did he say?
He said he was just feeling it out,
Yeah.
keeping it loose and stuff. It was unusual. You don't see that.
Right.
very often.
It was unusual out there in general with your lack of space to stand, because that's how a lot of arenas are, the way it is, the way we are now. But to me, it felt like we were pushed in. We got like the court was shrinking, but obviously not. It's the same, but it didn't feel that way at first.
Your two bigs, 8 for 8. Now that you're going to talk about the defense,
Right.
But together they gave you a night.
Right.
If that's a snapshot of what's to come, you had to like that.
No question about it. I thought both those guys did some good things, and obviously we got to rebound the ball better. And that's just not them, that's everybody. And that's what we talked about after the game. But, Travis is a guy that can stretch the defense and make an open shot. It's hard for a center to cover a guy that's efficient shooting the basketball. And then Sandy, has that nice little jump hook and is pretty good around the basket. We need him to use his athleticism around the basket. People don't realize that he's a pretty athletic kid and he's pretty mobile around there. But no, I thought both those guys did some good things.
The other guy, Anthony Johnson,
Yeah.
came off and not just scoring, but he seemed like he was really active all over
Yeah.
the floor.
Well, I thought he did a good job of rebounding the basketball. He went and got a couple of pretty impressive rebounds. He did a good job of moving his feet and guarding the basketball and just giving us energy. I think anytime you can get a guy to give you some energy, whether they start or they come off the bench, it really helps you. Anthony can shoot the ball and he can score it, but doing those other things and being consistent in those other areas is going to be important for him. Today, I thought he did a good job.
He just sat here and told us that he really benefited from sitting on the end of the bench last year, and he listened to what Rob Hummel was saying. Can you sense that he learned some stuff in his red shirt?
Yeah, I think guys learn some things, but there's also some basic things that they miss. So, with Anthony, I think you learn by sitting next to a guy like Rob of learning kind of some instincts and some feel are things that you got to go out there and you got to play. He needs to play. That's the reason I played him a lot of minutes. He needs to be out there and playing. And Rob's played a lot and then talks about it. There's a little bit of difference now. Obviously, Rob's a guy that understands the game, but he's also got a lot of experience. So I think the more Anthony can play, it's really going to help him.
Now, what do you take from this game that you're going to use in practice this week to really bark on?
The rebounding. I think it actually, I think just a bad habit is created through 5-6 months of pickup basketball in certain areas for every team. Now, maybe you have rebounders on your team that just flat go get it. We need to get some guys that are just flat will go get the basketball and be more aggressive, on the glass. So that's probably the number one thing. I'm not as concerned. I thought out of the threes we shot, I only thought, 2 or 3 of them were bad shots. I thought we took some pretty good shots. We just didn't make it. I'm not as concerned with that because I've seen some of those guys shoot and make them and be pretty consistent.
Do you expect this to be a team that is going to have to shoot a lot of threes to be successful offensively?
Well, this team here at Northern State, I thought, did a good job. They really played the gaps, and they didn't let you get by them. They really protected the paint, very similar to like Wisconsin. So you're going to have to step up and make some shots. And when you get rhythm shots on the perimeter, I want our guys to step up and take them. I mean, I guess when you struggle and you shoot the ball, you don't want them to continue to shoot. You want to probe the defense a little bit. But the way they defended things, that was what was open.
Looked like you tried to play both some, a little bit for Rob, a little bit for Travis, a little bit for Donnie. Is that
Right.
something this offense has to have to, I guess, kind
Yeah.
of play through?
I think we have to have balance. I think with those guys, if we can't get the ball inside to some of those guys you mentioned, we got to drive the ball and get to the rim. You don't always have to jam the ball inside to a big guy to get the ball at the rim. If we're not going to be able to establish some of those guys at the rim, then we're going to have to be able to use our dribble and get there, whether that's through screening action or just kind of dribble drive action.
We got two freshmen.
I thought they did some good things. I thought this was probably their best day in terms of when practice had started up until now. Sometimes people have jitters and they get out there, they don't play as well as they practice. I thought those guys played better than they've practiced so far. But you can see like Jacob Lawson got a good block, made a good individual play to score the ball. Donnie did some good things on the glass, knocked down a 17-footer. So those guys are both going to be good players. But they both signed to play at Purdue with the idea that Rob Hummel was gone. And Rob Hummel is here, and he's a 4, and they're both 4s. And so can one of them go get some minutes at the 5 or back up a little bit? It is a dilemma for you because Donnie actually signed with us 2 years ago when we thought Rob would leave. And then Jacob signed with us, before Rob tore his ACL the second time. So at least he committed to us before then. So the timing for both of them is, I think both of them are very good and can play, but where do they play? And, do we play with bookends like 2 forwards? There's a lot of question marks.
You sound pretty certain you're going to redshirt one. Is that?
I think it makes sense to, yes. Yeah, no, you're not. I think it makes sense to. I've talked to both of them about it. Neither one of them want to do it. Just like I didn't want to do it when I was 19, but when I was 22, I wish I would have. So I told those guys the story. I've never told Ryan Smith, but I should be shot for not redshirting Ryan Smith. And so, but that's something that, you live with as a coach because you try to make a decision that's best for them. And sometimes making a decision best for an individual, you go against that individual, but it's still best for him. Because I know this, if Rob Hummel is healthy and he stays out of foul trouble, he's going to play a lot. He just is. And if those guys can both be established, Sandy and Travis at the 5, and they hold that down, where's the other minutes, especially with a guy like DJ Bird who's played at the 4. So I want to, I'll talk to their parents and I'll talk to them and, we'll have a good week of practice and we'll play another game, but I want to make sure I do right by them.
Because Donnie is a year older and because Donnie did, I don't say it's not, no, he didn't do you a favor by going to prep school
Mhm.
year, but he agreed to go to prep school.
Correct.
Year. Would it make logical sense unless Jacob gets 14 rebounds and 10 blocks?
Right.
That he would be the more likely of the
Well, you gotta, you're being hypothetical. Where you are with your other 2 guys, neither one of them have been consistent through a year. So you don't know where those 2 guys stand. I like both of those 2 guys, but do you need more of a guy that can play maybe at the 5 some? And who's more physical? That would be the question. And I don't want to look into it from a theory standpoint. One guy's 19, one guy's 20 or 18, 19, whatever they might be. I just want to look into what's best for us and what's best for them. But I know having both of those guys. And then you could also look at it, can those 2 guys go by the other guys? And the other guys are here in a better position because of experience. They just know what's going on. So it's a tough thing to do, to be honest with you. I wish I had the absolute answer.
You'll watch the tape, obviously, but you ran some pretty big lineups out there with Bird 3, Kelsey 3, obviously.
Right.
That's something you want to be able to do this year.
We would like to do it. We'd like for them to rebound. And so if you take a bigger lineup and maybe you're not as quick, you think you should be able to rebound the basketball better. And with those big lineups, we didn't rebound better. So, we're going to have to, get an advantage when we do that. So hopefully we can get that worked out.
Number one more. Ed, do you know anything about, I mean, we may not talk to you in the next couple of days, your opponent on Sunday, they look different?
Yeah. I have no idea. I used to work with their head coach at Southern Illinois, but I don't know I've never seen him play. So
You have an idea, though, probably what some of the stuff that,
I have no idea.
well.
I've never seen him play.
I know, but you coached with him.
I did, but we did different stuff.
Okay. All right, thank you.